Great results can be achieved with small forces. Welcome to this new rambling, where my goal is to inspire you to explore your creativity. Today I'm sharing my top 10 conclusions about Steven Pressfield's book, The War of Art. The author defines the war of art as a private insurrection inside our own skulls, which means that the war of art is a fight that happens between yourself and your ego. The self wants to create art, and the ego destroys its potential by putting resistance into your thoughts. The ego wants to avoid the fear of failure and shame. It basically produces reasons why you should not create. On the other side, the self just wants to create because it's naturally creative and needs to express its uniqueness. Good news is that all of this is taking place into your head, so it's up to you to win the battles and give it all you've got. My goal here is to inspire you to find strategies to beat your inner resistance, which is basically the ultimate enemy to your creativity. Before we start, please remember to subscribe to this channel and like the video to show support. Many of us have two lives, the actual life and the unlived life. The goal is to go towards the life that your true self wants to live. This means taking action upon your dreams and letting go of the fear that it may be too late, because it's never too late to start, and you don't have to wait for death to reinvent your life. The most universal fear is the fear to succeed. It's a paradox, because people often think that success is enjoyable and should be a goal for everyone. But deep inside, we all know that success is scary, because it means going out of your comfort zone and risking your current social ego and the image you give to the people around you. It's also very scary to admit that you do possess talent for whatever you want to do, and that you have the drive and motivation inside you to persevere. Your part of the job is to take action. Fear gives you an indication about what you should be doing next. Think about it. If you have fears around something, it means that it's important to you. Otherwise, you would just be indifferent. And if you try to avoid that fear, then you will be avoiding what is important to you. So the first step is to feel your fear and then use it as feedback to determine your next action. Self-doubt and fear won't disappear just because you're becoming famous or achieving your goals. In fact, they may grow stronger because of the pressure that comes with achievements. Keep in mind that your fears will always be there by your side, just as much as your wishes, because at the end of the day, fear and wishful thinking are the two sides of the same coin. What you can do is to embrace doubt as a part of the process and take it as feedback to understand what's important to you. Hate and resistance are a form of interest. In fact, the more we resist an idea, the more we basically love it. The contrary of love is not hate, it's indifference, which means that hate is just a distorted form of love. So if resistance is proportional to love, then the more you hate something, the bigger the chances are that you really have to go towards it. Most of the time we hate people who do what we wish we had done ourselves, so it's a good sign if you feel hate, because it indicates you to do more of that stuff. Plus, you will feel so much gratification after doing something you were resisting, because your creative self will be truly satisfied and fulfilled, even if the ego is totally freaking out. So, the author's advice here is to choose both what excites you and what you strongly hate. To win the war of art, you will have to embrace the mindset of a pro. When you're dedicated to something, you make it your life, you give it 100%, and you get into a warrior mindset, which means you concentrate on the work and you commit to it full-heartedly. The pro mindset is about knowing what your territory is and nurturing it in the best ways possible. Ask yourself, if you were the last person on earth, would you still do it? If you had no one to impress, would you still show up at work? If the answer is yes, then you're on the good path. When you self-validate, you don't need to know if people like what you're doing or not. Failure and success are external values, and they only speak the language of your ego. They cannot speak to your creative self. Your creative self just wants to express itself and doesn't need to impress other people. The best thing that you can do is to separate your professional consciousness from your self-worth and detach the value of your work from the value of your person. As the author says, your work is not you. Only you can validate your work. To do so, try and assess your stuff as if it was made by someone else. This will help you focus on your creativity and not on your ego. With that being said, you will certainly need some help to fuel up your motivation and to believe that what you want is possible. Remember that asking for help is a big act of courage. You can learn from those who have done similar things to what you want to create. Listen to what they had to tell you, make them a part of your life, and treat them with respect. If you want to start something, start it today. The day is not over and there is certainly something you can do before midnight. Fight your resistance, beat up the excuses, and as the author says, this second you can sit down and do your work. Inspiration comes with daily practice, mostly as a habit and rarely as an event. Your creativity is a sum of your gifts plus good habits. If you want to create something, sit down and work on it. It's as simple as that. If you want to be creative, you have to go to creative work as you would go to a regular job. And that's the way inspiration will come to you. It will only happen if you go towards it, if you fight for it by being present, giving your best self, and showing up at work every single day. Bonus conclusion: to recharge your creativity, take walks out. It will help you take some distance from your practice and calm your mind. That's all for now. Thank you for joining me. Remember to take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.